Stanley Kubrick is one of the most dynamic and individual directors to hit the American cinema since Orson Welles in 1940. Kubrick's career began in the early 1950s with fairly unambitious films made economically and fairly cheaply, but somehow each film that he made turned out to be twice as good as the film that preceded it. Films like Fear and Desire, Killer's Kiss, The Killing, Paths of Glory, Spartacus, Lolita, and of course into Dr. Strangelove. Obviously the leveling off point had to come somewhere, and I suppose that at Dr. Strangelove he'd reached such a peak that it was no longer possible to make each film twice as good as the one that came before it. But certainly from then on, each film he made, and there's only been two big ones, 2001, A Space Odyssey, and the current film, A Clockwork Orange, have been really unusual, spectacular, extremely ambitious productions, ostensibly uncommercial ones, but which turned out eventually to be extremely commercial in every sense of the word, and films that attracted tremendous critical acclaim. Kubrick obviously is a director of tremendous dedication to his art and to the cinema, and also a man of great autonomy. Nobody tells Kubrick what to do, he just makes his films the way he wants to. Obviously this is the way that Stroheim and Wells and Chaplin worked too. Great masterpieces can be made that way, but also at times great disasters. And Kubrick is a man that is not easy to work with and is known to work by the method of perhaps making his own mistakes and correcting them rather than trying to avoid those mistakes in the first place. But since we have with us today Mr. McDowell, who's worked with him throughout the entire production of Clockwork Orange as the star, I'd like to ask you, Mr. McDowell, if you have any comment to make on Kubrick's working methods with you, whether there was great friction, how the role was interpreted.
Well, I'd have to disagree on one point, that he is not difficult to work with. I don't know where you got that from. Maybe other actors have found him difficult. I certainly didn't find him difficult to work with. This was a monumental film, and a monumental part, Alex. It's impossible to say how it was done. I mean,
perhaps I should have said rigid rather than difficult. In other words, he has his own fixed ideas and is not prone to take too many suggestions. Well, if I'm wrong, please correct me.
I'll have to, because that is wrong.